welcome to the Silver Screen Show, where we talk everything about films, movies, and review them sometimes. Well, we try to at least. Well, we've got a great roster of films today we're doing. We've got Atomic Blonde, starring Charlize Theron. We've got Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, very strangely named film by Luc Besson. And we've got The Big Sick, probably the odd one out here. But let's not talk too much about it anymore, and instead go right into the reviews. We've got our usual guest with us, Hiftu, and also a new guest with us today, Haider. Thanks for joining us, both of you. So let's start with Atomic Blonde, film directed by David Leitch, the same guy who did John Wick, the first John Wick, and he's actually set to direct Deadpool 2. So he's an interesting guy. I don't know how he got it. He was a stuntman before, and he just got into directing. So the film stars Charlize Theron, James McAvoy as the two sort of main leads, and it talks about, it is about the Berlin Wall fall, Soviet times, when there was all the spy and all this activities going on. So Charlize Theron is a spy sent to retrieve something called the list, which has names of all these US spies in the Soviet Union. And if the list is found and it gets stolen by someone, it can prolong this war for a lot longer, the Cold War. So interesting premise, maybe a bit stale. I don't know if you guys thought of it as well in terms of the premise, but the film is very much an action-focused film. So yeah, without any further ado, both of you have also watched it. So Hiftu, why don't you start?
Yeah. So
what do you think about it?
I thought actually, first of all, the list, is that not British spies? Was it American spies or British spies who were on that list? Not that it's entirely necessary for this review, but
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway,
just spies, yeah.
So for me, the film, I thought it was good, but it wasn't mind blowing. I like Charlize Theron, and I love James McAvoy as an actor, as you know, in anything he's ever done. He's
both very respected actors, right?
Great actors, and I feel like it was almost a battle between the two, for its audience to decide who's going to outperform each other in a way. Yeah. But sadly, I feel the script fell flat on its face.
Okay.
And I don't think the film necessarily, the script, I mean, considering what I saw, I feel as though sort of the action sequences and all that kind of stuff made up for it. But I still feel like an action film should have a great script. And that's kind of key to,
What was the bad part about the script? Is it just that it didn't mesh?
So there was quite a lot of twists in the film.
There was near the end.
Yeah, near the end. And I feel like that it didn't necessarily flow, and I felt like there were quite a few plot holes here and there. And but then I just convinced myself that, you know what, I'm clearly not watching this for the plot. I'm here to watch the action sequences. I was like, you know what, I give up. I'm not going to follow this anymore. I'm just going to... so I think that for me was probably a flaw. What I really enjoyed was, like I said, the action sequences. So, you have that 10-minute scene with Charlize Theron and these 5 different thugs on the staircase.
Yeah, that was really good.
And
that was quite a good scene. Yeah. There were actually really good action scenes in the film. Did you think the same as with Haider, by the way?
The action scenes, the car chase scenes.
In terms of the action scenes.
Yeah. There's one that was quite random when she was driving a car, and then she reverses and the van comes out of nowhere. And then, do you remember that scene?
Yes.
Before the car goes into the water.
Yeah.
We don't see any lorries, but she just reverses. Besides that, I think it was a pretty cool action scene. It was good.
Yeah.
But that kind of...
I think that was just an editing error somewhere. I'm
it
sure.
Just came out of nowhere. I was like, what happened?
I can't remember it now exactly, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you think of the film overall, by the way?
I enjoyed it because both actors are really impressive in it, and the fight scenes were quite impressive because she did train I forgot which martial art, mixed art she did, but she actually trained for that as well. And the way she was fighting, she was using more of the scenery as well. Like she used her heels, random.
Oh yes, very much like Jackie Chan, right?
Yeah, the key in the. He stood there for a very long time. It was annoying me for a bit. I was like, get out already.
I felt like there were some great moments. during, and that was things like, you know.
I think that comes up when a film is directed by a stuntman, because the guy used to be a stuntman before he directed the film. this is his solo directorial debut. So he did John Wick together with another stuntman. But yeah, I think the director, given his first film, I think he's, what I have as a downside to the film is the pacing. I thought the film was longer than it needed to be. There were scenes which moved a bit too slowly for me, and the overall tone of the film I thought wasn't captured as consistently as. So there were some scenes very stylistic, and some of them were very one-of-the-mill. This is how you just move the camera. This is how you direct a film. So I definitely saw some creative flares in some aspects, and that is something I really look out for when I see a film, because having seen so many films, you want to see something different. And overall, I thought it was okay as well. So I think we all three of us have a very similar mindset. And to be honest, Rotten Tomatoes, I think, agrees with us. I think it has 76%, if I'm not mistaken, on Rotten Tomatoes, which is okay. It's not bad, but it's okay. In terms of the good bits, what did you think were the good bits?
To be honest, for me, I think it was literally just that action scene on the staircase.
How about
that's when I was most engaged.
Just the action scenes?
And like I was laughing. I was, not cringing. What's the word? I don't know. I just felt like quite connected with that scene almost in a way. Quite, because I was like, you go, girl. Just
you go, girl.
Kick the living daylights out of them.
How would you compare?
Even though they are suspects.
Compare. So I was gonna say, Charlize Theron is doing more and more action films. Previously, she won the Oscar for, I can't remember the name of the film, but where she was the abuser. Then she did The Road, which was again very acting heavy roles. But this one and the one before it, Mad Max. Very, very action films. How do you think she compares now to other action leading ladies, like Scarlett Johansson? Oh,
okay.
Or Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie is not really much in the picture now, is she? Because
she's not. I think she's more of an activist now than an actor.
I've not actually thought about it like that. I've not really thought about comparing her with.
To be honest, this film reminded me very, very much of Angelina Jolie's Salt.
That's what I was about to say. Lead into that.
She's blonde there as well, spy, exact same thing, triple agent, and a lot of action sequences.
That's probably also why I didn't really get enticed with the movie because action scenes. Because I'm like, I already seen this in the movies once. So
you've seen scenes like this before.
Same thing. You don't want to.
I guess in a way, I mean, what I can say is they all sort of fit the criteria for, kind of a sexy Hollywood action female hero. Which is good looking,
can do everything.
Exactly, can do everything, and you just want to continuously watch them on screen. So in terms of performances, I've not really thought about that, but I mean, I think Charlize Theron, she definitely packs a good punch.
I think she definitely has acting chops, right? And she's now, you're saying, training as well. I didn't actually come across that, so she's committed. How do you think she compares with Furiosa? You've seen Mad Max, right, Haider?
It's been a while since we've seen Mad Max, but she was more, not dominant, but like she was more leadership. Like she
in Mad Max.
Yeah, it's been a while since we got in terms of seeing it to Atomic Blonde. She was more like. I think this is a more similar role, but she was more assertive and stuff and like controlling.
Very much so. Yeah.
And in this one, she because she was questioning the entire movie, like who's the spy and who's not. And all these microphones just come out of nowhere. So like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she has her limbs in this one. I hear she doesn't have it.
No, she didn't have one limb in Mad Max. But if you haven't watched Mad Max and you're a Charlize Theron fan, definitely watch Mad Max because she's the bomb there. She's the best. That film really got me liking Charlize Theron. Before that, she was just another actress. She also did Aeon Flux. I don't know if you guys have seen that. There's a long time back, a comic adaptation, and in fact, she broke like her neck doing that film because it was an action film as well. But yeah, she's really one of those few action leading ladies who still can make act.
And she's actually in her mid-40s or something,
Is
isn't
she?
she?
She's
Yeah,
42,
early-
and she
early
looks like
40s.
30.
Yeah,
does.
yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
something I was going to
Yeah.
say, you know, like...
She's like the
that's-
Tom Cruise of actresses.
That's a good way to
Yeah.
say it, yeah.
Yes, Tom Cruise, I don't know what he like puts on his face every night he goes to sleep.
Oh gosh, I
But
wish,
man, he looks
yeah,
younger than me.
yeah. I mean, that's Hollywood superstars for you, but yeah,
Yeah.
she's, yeah.
Anyway, I think that's a good consensus opinion all three of us have. The film is obviously still out. In fact, it just got out in the UK the day before yesterday, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You obviously went to the press screening, and we have the review of that in our website. But Hydra and I only got to see it after it got released. But the film is still out. It's actually done quite well so far. It's only on a £30 million production budget, which is surprising for like sort of a big budget summer blockbuster, right? But I think it's kudos to the director, because John Wick was also really low production budget, ended up doing very well. It's got now around 51 million, so I think it'll break even quite easily. Because you've got marketing budget, which typically is around 100% more of the production budget. Anyway, that's me talking about finance. We've got I love that stuff because it's very interesting, and it'll be more interesting when I come to the next film, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. It's directed by Luc Besson, a veteran French director. He's done Leon the Professional, fantastic film if you haven't seen it. Fifth Element, another fantastic film of those who like sci-fi films. But this one, he actually produced it along with some other independent production houses. So this is actually the most expensive independently produced film of all time. This film cost 210 million just production budget, and add on top, I imagine 150 to 200 million of marketing budget. This film needs 350 to 400 million by analysts' prediction just to break even. Guess how much it's made so far? It's been out for a while.
I don't think it's been doing that well.
It's only made 89 million so far, worldwide.
no.
This is going for like a
Bankruptcy.
Cleopatra level of flop. But anyway, this film, what did you guys think of it? This, by the way, this film is, this stars, I don't know if you're a fan, Cara Delevingne, I can't even pronounce her name.
That's how you say it.
I
Cara
pronounced it right.
Delevingne, yeah, I'm not, I mean, I've never, I don't, I'm indifferent. I don't like her or dislike
Yeah.
her. I did used to follow her on Instagram, but all those
Yeah.
inspirational quotes really annoyed me, so I was
Oh,
like, I
yeah.
need to unfollow you. I
She's
cannot be
like
doing this.
the modern day Paris Hilton, that's what I take.
No,
Is
she not?
no,
No.
you have to give her more credit than that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't follow.
No, I think
I feel like
she
I'm too
would-
old for that now. My younger sister follows her, and she's like a big fan. I'm like, I don't get her. Like, what is it so much about her?
Yeah, no. I think Cara Delevingne, I mean, from interviews and stuff I've read, I think she's always wanted to be an actor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think she comes from a really wealthy family, and so it's
Oh, I
kind
see.
of, yeah, and I think she's
Connections.
scouted as a model, or through connection somehow
Yeah.
she was able to kind of catapult herself into
Yeah.
the modelling world. But she's always wanted to be an actor, as far as I know, or you know, from what I've read.
Right.
And this is her, I think, third film, but first film in a lead role.
Right. I think she's a fourth or fifth at
Oh,
least,
okay.
because
Oh,
I've
right,
seen
okay,
her
yeah,
in
maybe.
3 films at least
Okay.
myself.
Yeah.
A few others. One, Suicide Squad 1, for example,
Yeah.
right? And a few others. I can't remember the names exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think let's just delve in. I haven't seen the film just because I just couldn't stand the actor and actress.
Who's the actor? in it?
I
Dan
can't
DeHaan,
remember his name.
The guy who played Harry Osborn in Spider-Man 2.
Oh right, okay.
Yes, yeah, in the
the
second
Garfield one.
installation of Spider-Man
Yeah.
Yeah,
films.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was the villain there, wasn't he? Yeah.
Oh right, okay.
He was also in The Cure for Wellness as well. Some
No.
film.
Oh no,
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So no, I was just gonna say. I mean, I like as soon as I saw like the posters for it come out, it's not really something that, I like sci-fi films.
Yeah.
But
so
it's
do I.
not
I'm
something that,
a big
appealed to
sci-fi
me,
fan. Yeah.
Just because of the cast, and like I heard Rihanna was in it, and it just made me feel like I think this is just kind of like a an attempt for the director or the makers to just get in as many big names as possible
Yeah.
and sell it on that.
And just sell it on the millennials, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of people they're
But
going for.
perhaps, I don't know, you saw it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw
Haider,
it.
why don't you give us a quick
Yeah.
overview of what the film is about and
Tell us
how,
we're wrong.
what do you think?
Oh, what's about the movie? Well, I forgot the main character's name, but Dan DeHaan,
Uh-huh.
the person he plays, he's supposed to be some kind of like he seemed like a player. Like in the movie, he categorized him as like he's the go-to guy, like he's so hot and stuff. And then like Cara Delevingne comes into the picture, random cheesy love moment, and then they're on a spaceship, and then you realise that they're going for some secret pearl, some mission, which is quite confusing.
Wait,
but-
is this in the future though?
Yes, in the
Oh, it
future,
is in
because the way the
future,
movie
at least.
starts off is that all these aliens from other planets are like joining this little
Oh,
massive
right, okay.
planet above in space, basically, like just joining in, making like a little colony.
Oh, that's why the city of 1,000 planets.
So it's 1,000
I see, okay.
colonies, and then it just dives straight into the movie. And yeah, like what I liked more about the movie was the CGI and the visual effects.
It was good.
It was really good. Like
Okay.
if you just watch it for that, the money you spoke, like
Yeah,
it makes sense.
210
Because it was a
million
lot of
spent.
money and it looks really good, but acting wise it wasn't selling it to me. And
Right.
the main characters or the people that are saving were blue, so it's mine with Avatar. So it's just
Oh
like,
yeah, I did see them. Yeah, they definitely did look like Avatar. I've seen
Yeah.
the trailers, and they,
Avatars.
yeah,
you know,
Okay.
Avatar from
Yeah,
the
blue fin.
from the other film, Avatar, the big one.
My question is, what was Rihanna doing in it?
Have you seen the movie?
No, I
Oh.
haven't. I'm not going to say
Okay.
it, but
Apparently,
I'm
Rihanna is
really-
the best bit
Yeah,
about the film.
That's what I was about to
Like in a
comment
bad way, the best bit
No.
about the film, or genuinely the best thing?
Probably generally the best thing about the movie. Like,
That is saying something, right?
yeah, like she only has like probably 15 to 20 minutes screen time,
Okay.
and you know about her history, you know what she's been through, you know why she's doing this, and like she's like a space migrant or something, so like she can't just leave the colony. So the
Oh,
main
right.
character's like, I can help you out, get you some visa, I don't know what it's called over there, but
Oh.
basically hook her up
Wow.
and like get her out of the thing. And like so she starts helping him out, and then she randomly, like, something happens to her, and then then obviously they all feel sorry for her, and then
Uh-huh.
they just move on with the movie. And
So she gets
Uh,
quite a meaty role.
yeah,
then,
she does.
So would you? Yeah. So a supporting role essentially, or not?
I
You
think
wouldn't go as
like,
far as that.
I'll probably supporting what is more lead supporting, because we don't know anything about the main two characters
Right.
besides
Really?
they're agents for the government, and I'm just
Mm.
like, I need more development for you guys.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
Ah, I see.
Characterization.
there's nothing about them.
Huh.
But yeah.
Well, if Rihanna wins like a Best Supporting Actress Oscar
Yeah,
now,
then maybe that will convince me to watch.
yeah, exactly. Then
Yeah.
I'll probably watch.
Yeah.
She didn't sing, surprisingly, but like she.
Thank
she-
God.
Oh my gosh, yes. What?
Yeah,
That is
she's
amazing.
If
singing.
you're gonna get her to do
So
something,
she's like, she's serious about this.
Yeah.
Oh, is Harry Styles in it as well?
No, that's Dunkirk. I think.
Oh, that's Dunkirk.
yeah.
I'm mixing them up.
Okay, all the
aren't I?
musicians
many
mixed
songs.
up with.
Yeah, I'm thinking
with
they're going for the
Blockbuster.
millennials. They're getting everyone they
Yeah.
can.
No,
Okay.
Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all are millennials anyway, so no offense to you millennials. If you watch our show, like it, please do keep watching. We love you. But okay, so what do you think you'd say as a verdict for the film?
Like, I enjoyed the movie because I knew the storyline didn't entice me, but by the visual effects, I was more like, let's see what happens now. Because like, they're in space, there's aliens, and like random stuff that happen. It's just
Is it at least fun to watch?
yeah, because I think it's mainly targeted towards like preteens, like 12 to 15-year-olds, like
Yeah.
not for like adults, but like
Oh,
for
right.
kids.
Why is it doing so badly then? I would have thought like teens.
But it doesn't look like it appeals to.
Because if you watch
That
it,
age group.
because if you watch
Maybe
the
that's
movie,
why.
it's not like super violent
Yeah.
or super serious.
But
It's just like
yeah, but just from the and I'm just
From
talking
the
from a
trailers,
marketing
yeah?
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the trailer, from the poster, it looks like it's made for adults and people
Yeah.
who are really
No.
into their sci-fi.
well, there was one scene where they go into like the shady side of town to find Rihanna because she's working in some kind of
Right.
bar. So besides that area, like everything else was like PG to an extent.
Huh.
So yeah, it could have been marketed towards that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they should have made that a bit more clearer. That
Yeah.
it's for
I thought this was, going for the same crowd that Hunger Games was for.
yeah, Hunger Games was more for
Like
families,
young
wasn't it?
adults.
Like kind of like.
Oh no, I was
Hunger-
meaning it for young adults.
Oh, okay.
Who like who just like this Maze Runner and all those kind of films. You know what I mean? You've got so many of these films coming out based on like young adult books. This one is
Yeah.
on a book as well.
It's a comic, isn't it?
Oh, is it on a comic?
Yeah,
it's a
French
French comic,
comic,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
it's a French comic. But
I guess
okay.
maybe those fans, the fans of that comic, will
Maybe.
probably
It's
say,
done
well,
really well
clearly
in...
not enough to break even.
Yeah, it's done really well in the French market, but the French market is tiny compared
Yeah.
to US or China,
Yeah.
where most of the films now cater to. But okay, that's interesting. I might actually give it a shot then, because there are these kind of films who have an absolutely abysmal marketing campaign, and that completely ruins the financial commercial element of the film. So, like, names that come to my mind already are John Carter. I don't know if you have seen that film. You probably haven't. It was a great film. Well, not great, but it was okay for a summer blockbuster. It's much better than the shit like Transformers that comes out. But it was one of the biggest flops of all. I think it was the second biggest flop of all time. Like, it lost so much money. And also I think about Edge of Tomorrow,
That's
Tom
a good
Cruise,
movie.
Live, Die, Repeat. One of the best sci-fis I've ever watched.
Is that the one with Emily Blunt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
One
it's
of
so
the
good.
one of the best. I think I've watched it. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
I go in a time loop. I keep watching it so
I
often.
think I could only watch it once. I saw it once and I was like,
Too
okay,
much.
that's enough, yeah. For
Too
me.
much.
Really?
I mean, it was great, but I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to go through that again.
They're making
No,
a
I-
sequel to that apparently as well.
They are actually, yeah, and rightfully so. I hope they do the marketing right, because that film deserved a lot more than it
It
got. But yeah, this sounds like then a film that had terrible marketing campaign, and it just didn't know what kind of demographic to target, and so it just got slack for that. But the Rotten Tomatoes score aren't really that bad. It is certified fresh, so I don't see why.
But how
it's-
many people have actually, like,
That's
you know,
alright.
5 people have voted, you know?
No, this was voted by many people.
Oh, okay.
Many. I can't remember the numbers, but because it's a summer blockbuster, you'd have a lot more like reviewers than you'd
Yeah.
have for a small independent film. But anyway, I don't know what Luc Besson would do, because he produced the film as well, and if it's that big a flop. Oh, and then finally, one of the biggest French investment bank, they're also funding this film. So
Bet
No,
they're
I
happy
find it
about
quite
that.
interesting, yeah, that they've made a terrible decision
Yeah.
in going into an industry you've got zero idea about, mate. So don't come barging into our industry. Anyway, so Valerian sounds like a good film if you are interested in this kind of sci-fis, and you can look. You can ignore Cara Delevingne or the cast. Go watch it.
Yeah, ignore all the cast from
Yes,
the film and
do
go
watch
Besides
it.
Rihanna. Yeah.
Yes. So that gets us to our last film, and probably the most interesting and likely the best film of the reviewing we're doing today, The Big Sick. If you can ignore the name, this, I promise you, is a very good film. But obviously we'll come to it, and we all have differing opinions. So this film stars Kumail Nanjiani, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, mate, as well as Zoe Kazan and Holly Hunter, the judge from Batman versus Superman.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
You know, in the trailer,
Yeah.
today is a day of truth. You can never get over her accent, right? That's how I recognize
She's
her.
the mother in this, right?
She was the mother,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I couldn't recognize her face, but I recognized her accent, and I knew that was her. So, well, you have something very
It's a bit
distinctive
trivia.
about you, I suppose. So that's her. She's Holly Hunter, as well as this stars Ray Romano, veteran actor. But anyway, this film is about a Pakistani American guy falling in love with a Caucasian lady, and they have I don't know what to
You
say.
sound so uncomfortable saying
I
that.
don't want to go into like racial problems and then like get slack for
Okay.
so this guy's a racist. So I'm just sticking by scientific terms.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
a Pakistani American falls in love with a white lady, and then they have cultural issues like the family problems and how they overcome that. And in the course of the film, a girl falls ill, and how the dynamic works with the families coming together and how they mix and how they resolve things. So that's why the name Big Sick. I don't know why they actually named it. It was the worst choice. But I almost didn't watch the film because of the name. I'm so glad I did though, because I thought it was a fantastic film. I'll start the review with this because I've watched it. You've watched it as well, Hif too. This film has 98% on Rotten Tomatoes with an average score of 8.3 with 202 reviews. 202 people have reviewed it with 98%. So it's a film that's almost universally liked as just a film. So I thought this film was firstly really, really well acted. I didn't expect that from a stand-up comic, Kumail Nanjiani. Initially, I thought he was a bit stiff in some places, but there are some scenes that really sold it for me, and I realized that he's acting just like he was acting that way rather than he just couldn't act, so that's why he was stiff. He was just an awkward guy. And in the emotional scenes where he's like actually sweating and stuff, it's like very genuine. It comes off as very honest. And I think it's partly also because this film is about his own life story. This is based on a true life story. And obviously there are what do you call that? It's ornamented on top of that, but the base story is about his own life and how he overcomes cultural barriers to get with his now current wife. So apart from the acting, I also thought the humor in the film was absolutely spot on. And coming from stand-up comics, I think that should be the expectation. But we've seen comedy films done by, I don't know what, Amy Schumer. I remember, not Amy Schumer. I can't remember. Yeah, Amy Schumer. I think she had a film. It was so
What film was
bad.
that?
I can't remember the name.
She made
now.
a lot of movies.
She made a lot of films, but she's just always pointing to like, oh, look how fat I am, and that's why it's funny.
Oh, right, okay.
You know what I mean?
forgot,
It's just
I've
so
heard you say
cheap,
that. Yeah.
like boring, lazy humor. This one
Don't
is,
hold back.
well, if you're terrible, you are terrible, and we are reviewing at the end of the day. Honesty counts. So I thought this film was really honest in its humor, really honest in its emotions, and really, I just thought it was a really genuine film. And to be honest, I will agree with a lot of what a lot of people have said, that I don't see it as a race film. Like, there weren't racial tensions that I saw. It was more that there were racial stereotypes, but that is something I suppose any comic does, and that is something that almost any Hollywood film does, to like connect to the lowest common denominator, if you see what I mean. Otherwise people just won't probably relate to like the nuances that people have as a personal life, in their personal life. But anyway, I think I'm belaboring the point here. I just thought it was a very genuine film.
Yeah.
Hiftu, why don't you give us your...
I agree with you. I think it was a genuine film, mainly based on the fact that, him and Kumail and his wife, I think they co-wrote the script, actually.
They did,
or they at least had a lot of input in terms of writing the script, because it's based on sort of their own story. Whether or not his wife actually did go into a coma, I don't know, but I'm sure the tensions and all that humour did exist at the time. I think the film has done well. I liked the film. I liked most of it. And I think probably the reason it's done well is because I think you'd have to be really cold-hearted to not like this film. It's a romance. It's funny. It's like a rom-com with a few cultural, issues. I hate saying that word, but it's true. Yeah. Sprinkled here and there. And it's turned on its head and it's made funny. You couldn't have that kind of humour in that film if those kind of cultural tensions, issues didn't exist. Obviously, main big issue being the fact that his parents want him to marry, have an arranged marriage. An American Pakistani or a Pakistani woman, and have an arranged marriage. So I think it couldn't have really failed, and I think the humour worked really well. But I think for me, my only criticism really is the way in which some of these American Pakistani or Pakistani first generation women were portrayed. And I kind of picked up on that in the scene when Kumail's older brother, played by Adil Akhtar, when he says to him, well, at first when me and my wife met, we didn't really know each other that well, but then over like the next few months, so we sort of developed our friendship, and now we're best friends. And you can see his reactions that he doesn't want to be. Obviously, he has a great friendship with his girlfriend, but he wants more than that. He wants excitement from life and stuff, which isn't a problem. But the issue with that is that I feel like all the Pakistani women were kind of portrayed as two-dimensional or a bit dweeby or not, And I think that's a bit unfair. And so I think they should have been a bit more development of characterization with like at least one of them to equal out the balance. But I would say that's something I kept picking up throughout the film. But other than that,
to be honest, I think those are all really fair points, and I think part of the thing, obviously, we don't know what happened in the production or editing stage. This was a long film, like nearly 2 hours, more than 2 hours, in fact. And I have a feeling that they cut out a lot of the things.
Why do you say that?
Sorry, what was the question?
No, you said they cut out. Because I haven't seen the movie myself, so I'm just.
No, what I'm saying is, every film, what happens is you shoot a lot more scenes than you predict will go up in the final film, because the editor and the director as well wants to have the flexibility of seeing what scenes work best and what flows from one to another. For example, I know in this film they filmed the last scene where the father is giving the lunchbox to him as he goes off to America. That was the first. That was to New York. Yeah. My bad. That was the scene that was filmed first. So just as an example, like directors want to have that flexibility when they're the editing phase. So I feel like they may have taken out few scenes to do with secondary character development. This is again me speculating to make the film flow better. So as the focus is more towards the love and the problems they have with the parents, because he did have quite a bit of.
I actually didn't. I think the film could have been a lot shorter. Actually,
so did I. Yeah.
Because I went to see it and then when I left the cinema, I was like, oh my goodness, is this the time? And I feel like the beginning of it could have been. I feel like I was just like, when is she going to go into a coma? When is the story really going to begin? Because that's when it really begins. The coma.
That is where it really begins.
So
You're right.
I was like, just go into a coma, please, so we can get on with this. And that's when the story really, truly unfolded.
True.
But I loved the parents and Kumail, the three of them. Oh my God, like all their interactions and.
The parents of the girl.
The parents of the girl.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought the highlight of the film was when the girl falls ill and Kumail mixes with the parents of the girl, because the parents are initially thinking this guy dumped my girl, so they go through a breakup and then she falls ill, right? And so the parents have a grudge against the guy, against Kumail, and so when they come together, so when they're all in the hospital looking out for the girl, and the parents initially are very cold with him, actually telling him, why don't you leave now, we've got it. And over time, as Kumail shows that he actually cares about her, they come to, and there's a scene where the mother says, where Kumail asks, do you want to stress eat? And the mother says, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, and they bonded.
Yeah, that's when the entire thing flipped, and they started bonding, as you're saying. And I just love the dynamic. I think Holly Hunter is the highlight of this film, and I hope she gets a nomination or so, because rom-coms, you typically don't have nominations, right? Because Hollywood being Hollywood, the Academy being Academy, they are all snobbish. They think only certain kind of films should get nominations rather than others. But I thought she did such a great acting. She did such a great job acting that she really should get recognized for it. And she pulled the film for me. The humor obviously works, but it has to be grounded to a character. And I thought it was her character that pulls it for me.
Yeah, I think really her and Ray Romano stole the show for me.
Him as well, yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily so they both play the parents of Zoe Kazan, who's in a coma, and it wasn't necessarily their interactions with each other. It was their interactions with Kumail on separate occasions.
Separately, yes, yeah. Because they're very different with Kumail. When they're together, they're
a certain way, and then when they're with him, and it's so funny seeing them develop and us as an audience getting to learn more about them through Kumail, who is the one who's trying to win them over in a way. So I liked those, I thought it was quite cleverly put together. In terms of the actual acting, I thought Kumail's acting was good. I thought all of their acting was, obviously Holly Hunter, Ray Romano goes without saying, but the lead, Kumail and Zoe. I think Kumail, I didn't know what to expect because I've never seen him act before.
Same here.
I never even really seen him do stand-up comedy before.
Neither have I.
So I was like, okay, and I think he did well. With Zoe, she was good, but I think there's a particular style of acting which either she adopted for this or maybe that's just her style. Whereby she kind of reminded me of Zoe Deschanel a little bit from what's that TV series?
Two Girls?
Yeah, not Two Girls, New Girl.
New Girl.
Oh, New Girl,
and it's just I don't know, her style of acting was quite similar. Like, oh, you know, I'm a, you know, crazy kind of nerdy but cute girl, you know, and I find that
Slightly
really
awkward.
annoying. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I find that really annoying. Like, I find it a bit over the top sometimes, but I have seen other people
Okay.
sort of act like that. But that's just
You
my
think
own
Zooey
personal-
Deschanel pulls it off?
Yeah, she
Or
does.
you just
Like,
find
I'm
that
not- it's not
kind
to
of
say
acting
that-
annoying?
Yeah, I find it annoying.
Okay.
It's not to say that they don't pull it off or I'm not
Yeah.
convinced. I just find that annoying.
Okay.
I just had to put that out there.
I think she'll be glad to know. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I think it varies from preference to preference. I think there's obviously a point around her playing a real life character. So maybe she was playing someone as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly what made me think, is his wife so annoying in real life?
Oh my god! Come on!
I mean, I'm just, I guess I just had to, I wanted to comment on the acting, and I thought it was great, just, I wasn't a fan of her style.
Okay.
But,
I thought it was okay. I mean, I think Zooey Deschanel is quite cool as well, and
Yeah,
I
she's
thought
cool.
she was cool. Yeah.
Okay, you know what, I'll take it all back. I love you guys, really.
He's never gonna be your friend, is he?
I
Kumail is
know.
like, this girl, I remember Black Mark her.
I know, keep her out of Hollywood. But,
Anyway,
yeah.
so you thought it was overall okay, except for
I thought
it could have
overall
added a
really-
bit more dimension to the secondary characters.
Yes, and because I think it's really important. I think if you are going to do a film where you are talking about cultural differences and tension, I think it's, and you are, I mean, I think most people who'd go to see this film would be quite liberal, left-wing, open-minded. Not to say you're not
I would say
open-minded
so,
if you're
yeah.
right-wing. But
You're getting in trouble.
yeah, I know, maybe I should just shut up. But I think, so people who go to see this, I think, you know, will have quite a good understanding of these various dynamics. But
Yeah.
I think just to do justice to, you know, the women of colour or, you know, of an ethnic minority background, I think it's important to at least give, you know, them some sort of background or some sort of substance and not just be treated as a,
Yeah.
I don't know, an extension of a cultural issue, if that makes sense.
Or just a piece for
Yeah.
comedy.
Exactly, yeah.
I know what you're saying. I think
it's
as
fine to do that because I
Yeah.
think earlier you were saying, like, you know, stereotypes are used in, you know, any sort of film or medium through
or
which
any
you're trying
comedy,
to,
right? Any
yeah,
comedy.
any type of
Stereotypes
comedy.
are very
And I think that's
important.
fine. And
yeah.
I think, you know, it doesn't matter whether we're part of it or we're not part of that. All of us will laugh at it together. But I think,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I think there needs to be an instance where there's some sort of substance.
Well, hopefully that happens soon as the industry develops. But I think that brings us to the close of our show today. I hope you enjoyed it. All these three films are good to watch, especially The Big Sick. That's my personal favorite. But yep, thanks very much to the guests. Thanks to
Thank
Hydra for
you.
joining us. Hiftu as well. Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
inputs, and hope to catch you in the next show. Have a good one.